Hello, you guys. Today I'm going to be talking about the books that I read for this year, 2021, all throughout the year. So let's get started. Okay, so I read The Art and Business of Online Writing by Nicholas Cole. This book, I wasn't really into it because it wasn't specifically for me. The only reason I picked it up was because I'm familiar with the author. He's a big writer on Quora, answered a bunch of questions on Quora, was a big time WoW player. That he was famous for that, and he wrote about that, and then he started freelancing his writing to various magazine websites. So this book is mostly for the writers who kind of want to go into that, learn the ropes, to see what is needed to write for these different websites like, Inc. Magazine, Vox, whatever it is, BuzzFeed. So I can't really pass judgment on the book, except that it's a good overview. It's concise. He doesn't repeat himself. He actually lays out the groundwork pretty well there. Moving on, I read. Oh, actually, for this one, How to Live or the Life of Montaigne in A Life of Montaigne in One Question and 20 Attempts at an Answer. I was finishing this from a previous year. I think I started it last year, and then I picked it up once again this year, and I finished it, and I just really like this. It's based on kind of like the life of Michel Montaigne. The author gives you a big, historical background on his life and how that contributed to his writings. He's known for the essays, where he just talks about, kind of his state of mind, the flow, just flowing of ideas, and that's what he did on paper. So I really enjoyed this book, mostly because it gave me a big overview of him and his thinking, right? And I just happened to really be endeared by his thinkings. So I would definitely recommend this for anybody, just in general. Next, I did finally get to read How to Win Friends and Influence People. I read the updated version, which is the In the Digital Age that's added. So this is by Dale Carnegie, very famous book. A lot of it I kind of knew, and I've been practicing a lot of his tips, right? He kind of goes through, one by one, what you could do to be better at relationships, whether it's, coworkers, family, friends, whatever. I think this book is really helpful and would help many people in dynamics of relationships that they have. There's a book that I picked up, and I don't know how I found out about it, but it's Chatter by Ethan Kross. He's a psychology professor, and he consults with companies. He's like a mediator, and he wrote a book about chatter, which is basically the stuff in your head that kind of, you're there just ruminating about the different ideas throughout the day that's just bothering you, the devil beside you kind of telling you, oh, this, that, you're not good enough, or you should have said that, like that's chatter. And so he does a really good job of going through the many different things that are helpful to kind of overcome your chatter or basically mitigate your chatter or make less potent, right? I actually gave a copy of this book to my old roommate before we left our separate ways to live somewhere else, because I thought he would, he would definitely be helped by it. Okay, moving on. Ooh, so I finally read The Bitcoin Standard, The Decentralized Alternative to Central Banking. This is by Safedean Ammous, also a professor. He's an economics professor. And this book is kind of like the book you give to somebody that you want to kind of, indoctrinate to Bitcoin, I guess you could say. I wanted something, I wanted like a primer, right? I wanted something to explain to me, what is this whole Bitcoin thing? And he does a good job, although I do have to say half of the book is mostly about money in general, and how that, how that worked in the past. What are the fundamental aspects of money? And then he goes on to explain like Bitcoin, the blockchain, mining, the nodes that support the blockchain and Bitcoin. So all of that, this sounds like gibberish, but you'll get to know if you read the book what kind of all of this stuff is and where it's going. So I definitely recommend it to people that are interested in Bitcoin. And let's see, I also read Blowout, which I have right here. Blowout. I actually have a physical copy of it. So, yeah. All the other ones were either borrowed from the library or electronic form, ebook form. So Blowout was by Rachel Maddow. The subtitle is Corrupted Democracy, Rogue State, Russia, and the Richest, Most Destructive Industry on Earth. So it tells you everything in the title, what the book is about. And I read Maddow's book, Drift. She's really good. I like her sense of writing because she gives you a bunch of details, but then she lightens it with like a joke here and there, or like a witty remark, So it's going to be very Maddow. If you're not connected to her politics, you probably will be annoyed by her, different sayings and whatnot. But the information is spectacular. She kind of goes through, a handful of people surrounding this world of the oil industry, and kind of goes throughout their life and how the oil industry affected them, whether it's positively or negatively. So Blowout was great. Next up, so this book, this is actually, I found out about it on a podcast. Chaos, Charles Manson, the CIA, and the Secret History of the 60s by Tom O'Neill. It was the podcast, the Joe Rogan Experience. Quentin Tarantino mentioned this, and I'm like, what the hell? What intrigued me of it was basically a reporter that spent 20 years on this book. So I'm like, wait a minute, whoa. It's kind of like I need to read this book for his sake. You know what I mean? Like if someone spends 20 years on anything, I'm like, oh shit. Okay. Oh, sorry. I don't want. I want to keep this PG. But anyways, so this book is about him and trying to uncover the inconsistencies, the plot holes, I guess you could say, and the possible cover-ups of the case of Manson and the Tate LaBianca murders that happened in 1968, and how that case from the DA's office in Los Angeles is just, it's not completely, there's some poking holes that he does. And he goes through it, and it's very detailed, and it starts going into, obviously because of the title, it starts going into like possible kind of conspiracy-like thinking, but not really. He tries to ground it, because he backs it up. And, there's like bunch of pages of notes, and he lays it out like, where is he getting this information that he's telling you? So this book really effed me up at times. When I was reading it, I was like, holy crap. But yeah, good timing. I would definitely recommend it to anybody. Okay, and then moving on, there's just two more left. I finished reading. I started this a long time ago, but this is Arms and Influence by Thomas Schelling. It was for a college class, and I barely read it when I was in the class, so I finally wanted to to finish it. And I did, and it's basically I would only recommend this to political science nerds or whatnot, because it's basically like a it's like paleo. What am I doing? What am I saying? Yeah, it's like game theory, but not really game theory, like an easy version of game theory. So he talks about like what should two countries that are clashing do. To send signals, and it's all these mind and war games, and he kind of lays it all out. It's very dry, so I would only recommend this to people that are interested in the subject. Schelling is very famous. And then finally, I finished reading the first Game of Thrones, and damn, you could see this is my copy. It's all beat up. I started this not this year, but I picked it up again this year and finished it finally. And what could I say? I mean, I love the series. I love the first season of the show, and this is basically the book and the first season are the same thing. But obviously, I love the book better because it's the whole thing where it's like more detailed, right? You get more insight into the lore, so definitely did not mind that. And yeah, that is what I read for this whole year. So I hope you guys are picking up, one of my picks, something that I read this year, so that we could both enjoy it. All right, guys. Bye.